Hello, beautiful souls out there. I hope you're able to get out in nature like Starlight was. And wow, what a beautiful day today. And I hope you're able to get out in nature like Starlight was earlier. And it's so vitally important. If you're stressed out and all that, I'll tell you what, getting out in nature is the key. Go find some trees or the ocean, a lake or a beautiful park. Butterflies? Yeah, why not? Some squirrels? Yeah, definitely. So go out in nature. Sometimes people get so wrapped up and stressed out that they forget to take time out and get out in nature. So that's my quickie message for you today. And thank you for all of you who have been here from the beginning and still here today. Thank you. And also, thank you to all of you who have joined me from the beginning through the middle, and also recently. Thank you to all of you who just, I might have met you in person, but thank you for all of you who watch my videos, subscribe to my YouTube channel, give me thumbs up, and also who share my videos and leave me a message. Thank you so much. You all mean more than you think you mean to me. We are Starlight. Welcome to my YouTube channel, and you can find me on YouTube, and that is at Starlight, and that is Kathy with a K Dingman. Plus, don't forget you can subscribe to my YouTube channel, plus give me a thumbs up, and you can also leave a message down below, beep beep beep, and you can share my videos with your family, your friends. Don't forget to ring the notification bell, and you can check out my playlist. Plus, you can find me on Instagram at 1995 Starlight or on Facebook, and that is Kathy with a K Dingman Starlight. All right, now today's video is about these two eyes, yeah, and yours. You got three eyes. Well, hey, I do too. Yeah. Great, I love that. Thank you for the feedback of that. You're like, no, Starlight, you got three eyes. Some of you are like, what the heck is Starlight talking about now? Yes, you got three eyes, These two eyes, though, deceive you. So this video here is to explain to you that, not everybody gets this, not everybody is meant to, but there's a lot of people waking up to this reality, and especially when stuff, goes on the news, like right now with all the shootings and all this war talk and all this stuff. I'll tell you what, some of you might not like this. Maybe all of you don't like this, but you know what? Isn't it sad that we need stuff like this for people to snap out of it? People get so distracted and things that don't matter, is that we need these wake-up calls, like all this stuff going on, because it gets people's attention. Some people, though, I do talk to people all the time, somewhere or another, and there's some people that are like, I don't even watch the news, I don't even listen to it, and I think that's great, but there's times that you got to kind of, know what's kind of coming. But my keynote on this is not to believe everything that they say. So Starlight does not watch the news, but I do have my mentor that does make videos about the topics. That way, you know what? I trust him and that's Infinite Waters, Ralph Smart. I trust what he's doing when he does make videos on the news, because he's a psychologist and he understands things that, I could get deceived on. So if you ever want to check him out, I'll tell you what, you will get a lot of help. And like I said, his channel is Infinite Waters, Ralph Smart. And you might really want to check him out right now, because he's helping people to get through these times right now where a lot of people are worried, they're stressed out, they're worried about their families, they're worried, about where they live, the gas prices, things going up, so anyway, besides that is, like I was saying, these two eyes deceive you, and there's a lot of deception going on in the world, and we can't see everything out there in front of us. The doctors say that the most that we, people can see is 20/20 vision, and that is nothing compared to, imagine seeing everything. It would scare the blank out of you, believe me. If you could really see what's out here right now, it would literally scare the blank out of you. You would be so frightened because there's things that are invisible here. Like there's angels, they're all around. And then there's other angels that are all around, fallen angels, and there's all kinds of stuff going on out here in this reality. But I'm not here to scare you. So this video is about how the universe can help you when you feel blind in this world, So yes, these two eyes deceive you. So like, where's everybody? Hey, where did you guys go? Hey. So yes, these two eyes here deceive you where you can't really see everything in front of you like you think. So this video is to help you to understand that the universe, God, is here to guide you and help you through the things in this world. Just like, like when I go driving in my car, I use I'm like, this is how I am, right? I'm like I don't know where I'm going. So I'm in my car, Starlight's driving her car. But wait a minute, I can't even go anywhere. I don't even know where I am. So I use a GPS. I use a GPS so I can get around, because otherwise, I could go somewhere, but I'm not going to get to where I want to go, because I don't know my way around. These two eyes deceive you, and it really messes all of us up one way or another. Our eyes deceive us even when we see people. We look on the outside, their facial expressions, how they, it's amazing how we got created, this shell. All this is a shell. But it's amazing how this shell was made with all the expressions that you can have on your face. So a lot of times when we go out in public, we look at people, and like I'm always saying hello to everybody, hello, 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 all kinds of stuff I say to people every day, everywhere I go. And you might try that, and then somebody might not say anything. Sometimes, I do this. I say things to people, and they might not have heard me say hello, but then we look on the outside appearance, and their facial expression. Oops, sorry, that was bad. We look on the outside and thinking, oh, how dare them? I said hi to them, and they couldn't even say hi back. Believe me, I've been there. And you got to even be careful of the outside appearance on people. Just because their facial expression, you might think this or that, you could be 100% wrong. Because these eyes here, they deceive us. They deceive us on, we think we know it all. I don't. I know I'm far away. But a lot of times, like when we're outside looking at people and how they respond and react to us, we think, ooh, they don't like me. It could be at work, people that you know, but you don't know. And really, you don't know anybody, really. And you might not even know yourself. Even your own family, you might think you know them right now. I'll tell you what, put your seatbelt on, because you're going to find out more and more through this journey here, the stuff that we're going through right now about your family. So we've been deceived in so many ways as far as what we think with our two eyes. And so you really don't want to go so much about what you see with these two eyes. When you understand, when you work on opening up your third eye, that's when things get interesting, and it doesn't all happen all at once. It gradually happens, years it takes for that to happen. But that's not really what Starlight is going to talk about today, is about your third eye. But really, if you really want to, know what's going on out there, is work on getting your third eye opened. And then you'll understand more of what is going on, because this third eye right here is what you want opened. And it's kind of funny how the Bible is, how many of you trust the Bible 100%? Well, so there are some hands out there. Yeah, I see some out there. Yeah, there's some people do. I see your hand, but not everybody's hands are up. So not everyone trusts the whole, quote, Holy Bible. Ain't that funny? I have to say, isn't that funny, the Holy Bible? But then it's all messed up. They got books that are not in the Bible, which I didn't know of. I knew that there was books that were not in the Bible, but I didn't know what was it, what was the missing books, so you got to understand that not everything in the Bible is 100%. So, and that's not what I'm here to talk about. What I'm talking about today is about how the universe can guide you, and how, instead of looking at people on the outside is, now this would be a better way. Whoops, my thing is not tight enough. Now imagine that you're blind, okay? Now I'll tell you what, I have 2 family members in my house, in my family, not my house, because where's my house? We're in Starlight. Does anybody know where Starlight's house went? So anyway, I have 2 family members. My sister, who was born legally blind, couldn't see nothing. And my dad was born partially, he had some vision when he was born, and then throughout life he had some accidents with his eyes, and then later on tried to get it fixed through cataracts, and then that even totally worse, got worse. And so my dad is really, can't really see very much of anything, so I came from a family of 2 people that have vision problems. So now imagine that you're like this, right? And somebody comes up to you. See, now you're not going to really see what they look like my sister, but guess what? You're going to feel the energy from the person. And I do have a story with my sister, and because, see, she can't see, but she can hear you, and she can feel you. So there was a time that I know somebody that went to her and started talking to her. You know what, it's amazing, my sister, my sister didn't feel comfortable with that person, their voice and their energy, because that's what my sister was sensing, is the energy coming from this person. And the person actually had grabbed a hold of my sister's hands, and my sister knew better not to do this, but she did it anyway because she didn't like the energy, and she grabbed a hold of the person's hand and just bent the finger right backwards, and really hurt that person's finger, because she's not stupid. She might not be able to see, but she can sense your energy. And that is why it's so important to understand how these 2 eyes blind you. And you don't really want to put all your attention on how you see things out there, because many times I have thought something and I was 100% wrong, because I was going by the facial expressions on people or the actions that they were doing. So you cannot go by that. Now the universe actually has ways of us to understand what is going on around us. You're going to need guidance. You're going to need help. most of you are more than likely in the third dimension, a low frequency where you're always afraid of this and that happening. And what you need really is to let love guide you, not fear. And I'll tell you what, these times right now, you got to learn to understand how the universe works, how God works. And that is by the universe gives us signs all the time. And I haven't made one of these videos in a while because, I've been making other videos, but the universe, God talks to us like through dreams, symbols. Get to know your symbols. I'll tell you what, I was thinking of this the other night, is if I understood the symbols, it would have saved me a lot of crap when I was younger. I would have been able to detect danger because I knew the symbols. So really, that is a good way to understand if you learn what symbols mean. And I'll tell you what, just like a dream, I have videos on my YouTube channel and a playlist about how to have a dream journal. It's so important to keep track of your dreams and write them down and study them. And so God speaks to us through our dreams. And so I'm not going to explain all that. If you want to find out about your dreams, you might have had something like I talked to people and they had dreams that just kept on repeating, or the only dream they had. There's some people I met, they never remember any of their dreams, even though we always dream every night. There are some people that don't remember their dreams for one reason or another. And but symbols is another way. You're going to want to learn about symbolology or whatever. And that's something that Starlight wants to do right there, is to learn about symbols, because, you would get information just like a dream. You could be in a dream state and you might think, oh, that was a horrible dream, Starlight. I can't believe what happened. But the interpretation could be great. Even like you might see a snake in your dream and you could think, oh no, that's a snake. It's horrible. But, is it? So you really got to know, what does it mean? Like, even if you're out in nature, out in public somewhere, somebody could come to you and you might not know if they're safe or not. Are they safe? You got to go by, how do you feel? Don't use these two eyes, but how do you feel? Don't pay attention to what your eyes tell you, because they're going to deceive you. How do you feel about the energy? Just like my sister, is how do you feel? Like, your intuition is very powerful. You got to learn to listen to your intuition, because these end times now, we've been in the end times for a long time, but right now with everything going on, you got to really pay attention to what's going on outside of you. And this is not the time to fall back to sleep. Believe me, you don't want to fall back to sleep right now. You got to be aware, and you got to, most of you are in an old program that's no longer serving you. I made other videos, a while back about being reprogrammed. It is so important. You might think, that's evil, wicked, because a lot of people that went to church or are going to church right now, guess what? They have been deceived. They've been deceived by those people, using the word of God and interpreting it the way they want and giving you a message how they want you to read into it, to have a way of controlling you. There's a lot of people do this. Even scientists, even cops, I say these because, hang on, Starlight's got to scoot up a little bit. Like scientists, they can convince somebody like a science thing is 100%, accurate and all that. But there's so many different things and so many different angles to study, like, is this an illusion, right? For example, they got documentaries about the simulation, so they got all kinds of people been like, hey, is it a stimulation? So all of these different people from different parts of different backgrounds that have been studying this to figure out, okay, what does the scientist people say? What do the different points of views of different people on the same topic, So you got to really be careful, because there's a lot of deception going on in the church building that could tell you that this is what it means. And then okay, you got to know what's real and not. If you got people that are preaching the Word of God and reading, having you study the Word of God, or programming you by, having you go through training like I did, discipleships, like I went through discipleship stuff when I went to church. So you got to really be careful with that, because a lot of it's you're being programmed whether you know it or not. And so you got to really question everything as what, because just like a scientist or a police officer, how many times have people gone to prison and they were innocent? But how did they got put into prison because the officers said they were guilty, right? So like officers, how many times do you think they've been wrong putting innocent people behind bars? Or innocent people that got the death penalty? This is how serious this stuff is. I'm not here to scare you. I'm here to tell you that if you're if you're being run off of a old program, it's even like your car. If your battery is kind of not really doing good, guess what? Your car is going to have some issues with different things. It's going to, eventually then the battery is going to be so dead, because that happened to Starlight, I was having problems with my car, not understanding what the heck is going on with my car, because the battery was dying, So just like your cell phone, you couldn't use a 3G or 2G or any of those, you need, right now mine kind of goes back and forth on 4th and 5G. So if you're being ran off an old program, things are not going to really go as good as you think. Things are not going to really work right. So, but you got to be careful, because a lot of people have been brainwashed and controlled in churches. And so when they see certain titles, even on my YouTube channel or anything out there in the public, they've been programmed. Don't listen to that. Don't open that up, because that's, ooh, that's evil. And the way this whole stimulation, this whole matrix stuff is everything's backwards, inside out, upside down. Crazy, it is. Things that, they say is right could be wrong. How many lies are in the world that we've been programmed to believe? And if you don't really know what you believe and what the truth is, your belief system is going to screw you up. If you believe in the wrong stuff because you've been programmed, you're going to believe in the wrong stuff. You're not going to get the help that you really need. So you really got to really question everything that you were taught. Did they really know what they were talking about in the church? When I went to church, and this is very dangerous, I was being taught that my thoughts were okay to think what I was thinking. They never taught me that my thoughts were so important, that what I was thinking, I was creating. They never told me that. So I went around telling everybody else, hey, it's okay to think that way as long as you're not acting upon that. You could have a really bad thought, Some of you might have went and did a really bad thing because you had this really negative thought and went out and acted it. And I thought, oh, that's bad. But really, thoughts are really important, because you're creating your reality by what you think and what you speak. So if you've been lied to and you just believe everything you heard, now that's a false information, and now you're trying to live your life. Guess what? You're going to get yourself in a whole lot of trouble later on through these end times. Those things were set up to trap you for these times now. And I'm not here to scare you, is that you really got to question everything, even question what I say. Just because, there's a pastor that preached something, or your family member said something, you got to get out there and study that stuff. And, because if you believe it, you wouldn't believe how many things that I've learned on this journey here that it wasn't even real. I was told this stuff. Like my thoughts, your thoughts are not all your own. I never had anybody tell me that. So you got to really believe, you really got to be careful what you believe, because if you're being ran off a false, information, everything that you're going to decide to do right now is going to screw you up. And you'd be like, how come everything doesn't work right? Because it's a old program that, just like you can't live off of a 3G phone. But some people in churches, they've been so controlled. They think it's all voodoo stuff out there, because people do certain things. It could be half right and half wrong, just like people doing crystals and stuff. We're in the New Testament. They were building stuff for the Lord, for God, and it had stones and all this. They actually, God told them exactly what stones and crystals to use to build this, stuff for God. So how could using crystals and stones be wicked and of the devil? Now, yeah, you could use crystals and stones and put witchcraft out there and black magic spells on people and wish them evil. So you got to really, I want to get you to think. I want you to really think of what you were taught, just like the politicians. I don't have a quarter on me, but if I had a quarter, one side of the Republican and Democrat, I never could pick sides, because I couldn't 100% be on one side of that coin, because that's how they trick us. And to think that, you had to pick either Democrat or Republican, and it's a joke to do that to people, is to make them think that and that's why there's a big problem out in the world, is people fighting on sides of what side that they are. And so you got to realize is you're not 100% agreeing to everything on the Democrat or the Republican. So that's how this all has been made, is to trip you up, not to help you. So you got to really question everything that you believe. Do you believe, what do you believe, and why do you believe what you believe? So I really love you, and please don't be deceived by your eyes. And the other things, I'm sorry about these interruptions here, is that other ways that the universe helps us out is through numbers. So numbers are very important. Like, I don't have my number book in here, but numbers are very important. Like repeated numbers, it could be 111, 222, 333, 444, all the way, 999, 10, 11, 11, 12, 12. It could even be 55. If you see numbers that stand out or repeat themselves, like you keep on seeing the same number, 888. I see that everywhere. Everywhere I go in the bathroom, and there's, they got this paper on the bathroom stall to let people know, hey, if somebody, if you've been kidnapped or if there's slavery going on, that you can call this number, like human trafficking and stuff like that, that 888 is on that paper all over the place, in a lot of bathrooms, a lot of places that 888 is all over. And that's information you get from the universe. So you're gonna really want to learn all these things, because that old program, you think that you're going to use that old program and help you get through the end times. You're crazy. You are crazy to think that old program is going to help you to get through right now. And that's why they programmed you to believe all that stuff that they did. Even when you went to church, it's not going to help you out at these times right now. You got to unplug from those old programs, that you've been, lied to about, even the things that you were taught in church. So anyway, I wish I had more time on this, because I had to break this up. So I love you so much. Really question what you believe. Why do you believe what you believe? Don't be fooled by these two eyes. Is, how do you feel? If somebody came up to you, how do you go by how you feel when they talk to you? If something's like, you feel it, man. I'll tell you what, when somebody's lying to you, you could feel it. don't pay attention to what they say. I have people tell me all kinds of shit all the time. Hey, yeah, we're going to call you up tomorrow. You know, my phone didn't ring. Hey, yeah, I'm going to do this. It never happened. Hey, yeah, I'm going to do this. It didn't happen. So don't really rely on what people say. They got to prove it. So, you know, I love you so much. This is Starlight. Namaste. This is Starlight, love, light, and peace. Thank you for watching my video. Don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel. Plus, give me a thumbs up. And you can leave me a message down below. Beep, beep, beep. Plus, you could share my videos with your family or friends. And don't forget the notification bell. And check out my playlist. And you can also find me on Instagram at 1995 Starlight, or on Facebook, and that is Kathy with a K, Dingman Starlight. Thank you for watching. This is Starlight. Namaste. This is Starlight, love, light, and peace.